torture them. Gosh, I wish we didn't need this.
What up, girl? You gotta put your helmet back on. What game does this remind you of?
Fellows happened along just in time. These boys seem to be upset at how I've been entertaining their comrades. Don't you even know what's going on? A dragon is attacking Helgen.
Yeah, well, I'm hidden.
A dragon, please, don't make up nonsense. We need to find a way out of here.
It's probably not in this little prison section, just to let you know.
Come with us. We need to get out of here.
Just saying.
You have no authority over me. Didn't you hear me? Listening. He's under attack. Forget the old man. I'll come with you. Wait a second. Looks like there's something in this cage. Don't bother with that. Most of the pages ago.
We're taking everybody.
See, get it open with some face. Way down. Keep all of my things. Grab what you can. Let's go.
You can't see me. You got the same skirt that she does. Yo, I'm pretty sure I just picked up that book without reading it. That's sad.
There's no way out of that.
adjust the camera. Oh, no. It's rather rude not to use something. It looks good. I'm sorry, I have a fan on. That's plan on becoming a vampire before taking certain perks so that we can gain the bonus that you gain from being a vampire NecroMage when you acquire specific perks. It doesn't affect them all, but it does affect several, such that if we get these specific perks before becoming a NecroMage, we don't get that permanent bonus. So I'm just looking at the list at the moment to get an idea of which perks I have to wait to get. Also, to get an idea of what level some of these skills have to be. There's a few level 100 skills that are going to have to be there before we can get the perks. I'd like to NecroMage and heal early in this game. So that means, for instance, alteration is going to have to be 100 before I become a vampire, or I can't get Atronach. Let me just see if there's anything else that needs to be 100. 90. Restoration will have to be 90. Wow, PC. Infinitely helpful for testing things like that. So superior to a console. I'm just realizing that. One moment. Just everything about PC. Thank goodness for PC gamers, eh? Just indescribably helpful to the gaming community. I don't think we give them enough thanks or credit. I never have. I don't believe I ever realized just how much they contribute, due even to the simple fact that they have console commands and such, save states and such. Do you know how hard and how long it would be and take for me to test every single perk acquisition after being a vampire? I'd have to level every skill up to 100 without getting a single perk. First of all, I have no idea how difficult that would be. It sounds incredibly difficult. And take forever. They don't have to, though. They can do it a lot quicker and simpler. That saves everyone that time. They do a really good service for everyone. Shout out to all of you PC gamers. Now, they all know how much they contribute. But most people don't even realize it or consider it. I'm guilty of that. I think they get a bad rap just because it's more inexpensive, more convenient, and overall just much easier for most PC games to be modded as opposed to a console. And because of that, perhaps PC games have gotten a bad rap. It's not like they're all modders and hackers. You can do it on console too. It's just a lot more difficult. But that doesn't mean every PC gamer does it. Plus, to be honest, most of the modders / hackers on some of these PC games, most of them aren't doing it on like multiplayer games. I mean, of course, some of them are probably. A lot of them do it for research purposes. Like this article I'm using for this vampire playthrough, they listed every perk that they tested that being a vampire and having the actual vampire NecroMage thing affects afterwards. That could be, that's like modding. Could be, you could utilize modding / hacking, whatever you want to call it, to get that information. They could probably just level themselves up with a console command, remove all their perks, and then like test which things get boosted and which don't. They could probably do it in like 15 minutes or something from start to finish. I'm not sure how long it would take me on PS3 here to do that. I want to say it would probably take like 20, 30, 40, 50 hours, because that's how long it would take, maybe more. So just very, very helpful for everyone, all the research they do. And I just think overall they must just get a bad rap because of the few that are going into multiplayer games and cheating. I mean, yeah, that does happen, and it does suck. But it's not like that's what they're all doing. A cheater is a cheater. It's not because they're on PC or because they're playing this game or that game. If that's who they are, that's who they are, and they're going to cheat if they can. Shouldn't hate the whole group because of it. That being the case, if we're playing World at War, Call of Duty World at War, Doris, if I even think that you're a modder, then you're not playing with me because I hate modders. But no, that's because they ruin the game. They ruin the game if they're playing it with other people. You know what I mean? If it's like a multiplayer game, obviously modding and hacking, it's all cheating. Obviously. Should never happen in a multiplayer game. If you want that, then I'd say play something like Rocket League with like mutators in a private match. That's modifications, but it's okay, because it's for everyone. You know, it's not like one person has it and no one else does. That's cheating. It's one thing if you're playing a one-player game like this. This is offline. Now, I don't have mods or hacks or anything. I never have, never will. Not for anything. Not for PS3, PS4, or PC. But if someone were to have, like, and I don't even think you have to use, like, hacks or mods on PC for some of these games. I'm pretty sure there's just access to the console itself, the console commands. And if that's the case, like Half-Life 2, I know, outdating myself. I'm dating myself slightly. But, like, I did a lot of map editing for Half-Life 2 back in the day. Great stuff. And I was using the hovercraft thing. I forget what it's actually called. You know, the thing with the big fan on the back. I think it's sweet. And I was messing with it, and I forget what happened, but I think if it can blow up, I must have blown it up. Something happened, and I needed it, and I didn't have it at a part that I needed it. Oh, what it was, I must have lost. Okay, so I'm gonna go on a slight tangent here. The place in the game I was at, there was a specific hovercraft. It was like the first time you ever got introduced to it. You ride it around, you get to a certain point. Now, unbeknownst to me, that particular entity in the game, that specific hovercraft, was the only one you were going to use at that point. It had like a gun. It was like special. But the game had it flagged with a certain property such that when you got to this particular gate, they would do a cutscene and the gate would lift and you'd get to move on. Now, that isn't normally a problem, except I was just going nuts with the hovercraft somewhere before that part, and I either blew it up, or maybe you can't blow it up, and I just lost it. But I went on the console commands and spawned myself another hovercraft, right? Cool, no big deal. Kept going, got to that part, the gate wouldn't lift, and the cutscene wouldn't happen. And I'd played through the game before, and I knew it was supposed to. And I'm just like, wow, it's not working. It must be because I spawned a new hovercraft and it's not like, doesn't have the same flags, it doesn't have the same properties, and it's not triggering it. I looked it up or something, I'm pretty sure I just looked it up, and they said something about it needed to reference a specific entity hovercraft, and it was looking for it, and it wasn't that. It wasn't this one, the one I spawned. So I had to like use console commands to like rename this hovercraft whatever the other one was or something like that, at which point it recognized it and it could continue. All I'm saying is something like that, that's fine. That's a single player, not against. See, if you're playing against other people, you can only use whatever is allowed, because that's a different environment. If you're playing Super Mario Bros. 3 on NES, and you know how to do some really cool glitches and techniques, that's fine. You're using your own skill, your own mechanics, and you're not playing against the person. Not online, not competitively, and certainly not for money. That's very different than playing like a first-person shooter multiplayer game, or like, for instance, my favorite, World at War, Nazi Zombies, Derice. That's different. It's not for money. Maybe you wouldn't even consider it competitive. But you're playing with other people, and there are rules. You can't use something they can't use. It's not the way that game was intended. That's cheating. And I don't agree with it. Now, this is Skyrim. It's offline. If you want to use exploits or something in a game like this, it's personal preference, I think, for this. Because this isn't online. There's no one else who I'm having an advantage against. Because that's the thing. I'm playing against the computer here. So, like, if I want to use my follower to pick up objects in a way that over-encumbers them, but allows them to continue holding all my stuff, not a big deal. No one's hurt by that. My follower is just uber strong. But, like, if this was somehow online and my follower, I exploited something so that my follower could carry unlimited items, and the person I'm playing against, their follower can't, that's wrong. That's not fair. That's the difference, I think. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. That being the case, there also is nothing wrong with a pure playthrough of a game like this that is offline. That's fun too. I do enjoy some certain glitches and exploits, but only in this kind of setting. And I don't agree with any kinds of mods or hacks if it's an online game, just across the board. Anyway, moving on. I was just saying all that tangent because the people on PC who were kind enough to figure out which perks are affected by vampire-ness saves me a lot of time. For that, I'm very thankful. So let me just see what other things I need to level up to 100, because that's going to have to be somewhat soon. I don't want to get too far in the... Well, you know what? It really depends. If most... Oh, I guess it doesn't. If all of this perks were early in the list, it makes sense to do the vampire and heal early. If there were a bunch of perks, just in the early ones and late 100 ones, well then it would make sense to power level them and do it early. Oh, I don't need to come up with all the different possible. Let me just see where they are and figure out what makes the most sense to do. Also 90. Okay. So far, alteration, illusion, and restoration all have 90 or 100 that's going to have to happen. But let's keep looking. But if all of them were late, then I could just progress through the game normally until we got to that point where we were at the perks, then finish power leveling and do the vampire thing. Because the whole thing depends on where the perks are. Let me just pull up my list here. Okay. You didn't say if I did any of these. And I gotta assume that they did a good job at their research. Let me just double check real quick, because I only looked at one guy's research. If another person verifies it, that's good enough for me. This guy looks pretty legit, man. That's real sick. Okay, I didn't write those down. Say Windwalker is affected. Awesome. Okay, so they're saying that if you're a vampire, taking NecroMage then has that effect on the other perks. If you take those perks as a vampire after you've taken NecroMage, which is its own perk here. Because if you're a vampire when you take this, you're undead. And certain perks you get are now more effective when used by you because you're an undead. Awesome. Well, that naturally means that, unfortunately, regeneration isn't going to work. It's not going to receive a boost. It would, probably, except that it's a prerequisite of NecroMage, which would obviously prohibit it from getting anything retroactive, since that's clearly the way they're saying it does not work. That's okay. So obviously, restoration has to be 70 before we can even pretend to think about it. Really cool. Alright. So they are saying that muffle. Okay, cool. So alteration, let's put this on. Just getting a list compiled here. Blocking perks. One is affected. Cool. One-handed dual flurry, sweet. Wow. That doesn't make sense in an awesome way. I mean, it completely does. In an inconsistent manner, which works out for us. Huge. Very sweet. Dual flurry gets totally enhanced from that. Lock picking, it says it appears to, but they weren't 100% sure. It would be hard to test. Not hard to test, but hard to get results in. That's really sick. Almost done with this. Okay. they did not test whether the speech perks. Alright, I'm gonna just check another site, like I said. I thought it was the same one I had checked before, but I wanted to write stuff down. Alright, good enough. Back to the game. So I can't get that or that. So that is affected technically, but that shouldn't even matter once. How do you get permanent thrones? I don't remember. You know, I will. Okay, so which one? We don't have to get all of them, though. I'll have to see which ones are super definitely necessary. I mean, that seems kind of sick. Not too worried about that either. So we're definitely going to just be waiting a bit before doing any of this. Do we want archery? Because that's pretty cool. We can get that. It's not affected. Not affected. None of those are. So that's good. We can still get. Can't get that yet. That's effective. Cool. We got both of these. Can't get that yet, because that's going to be effective as well. Alright. Basically, we can level up, but must be very careful about when we get perks.
This way.
My question is, how did this guy get in there?
Let's sneak together down here.
I mean, there's no like door on it. You know?
Come on, hurry up.
Maybe he was born with it. Or maybe he wasn't. Or maybe it was Maybelline.
This way.
It's probably Maybelline.
Let's sneak together down here.
Pretty sure we're sticking together, buddy.
Come on, hurry up.
Where did that skeleton have that 5 gold? That's what I want to know.
This way.
Was it in his like ribcage? It was in the pockets.
Let's sneak together down here.
We're together, dude. Trust me. We're as together as it gets, you know? Create another save file. Whoa, not that. So, by the way, you can go into your game data directory on your PlayStation 3 and delete saved game files if you have too many. Just to let you know. It's helpful if you use like autosave. Just helps you to clean it up. So, oh, sorry. Just kidding. That should be that dude's fighting everything for me. Yeah, wait for Iris, son. So one-handed.
I'm all ready. Say no to it, Mike.
You keep fighting while I take their stuff. chill out. Let him get some experience here. Girlie wants. Iris wants to fight too, son.
Over here.
Yeah, I see you.
Looks like the way out's up ahead. Come on. Let's see where this goes.
I'm pulling it.
I guess we're lucky that didn't come down on top of us. We'd better push on. I'm sure the others will find another way out.
Pretty sure there's no one else here but us, dude.
That doesn't go anywhere. I guess we'd better try this way.
I mean, like the only way there is to go. Yeah, good idea. I wonder you're the one leading.
That'll teach you. What next? Giant snakes.
Probably not. Just
This looks like let them stick together down here.
Let me guess, there's a bear.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead. See her? I'd rather not tangle with him right now. You might be able to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow and watch where you step. Or if you're feeling lucky, you can take this bow.
How about I just go and smash it? You know what I'm saying?
Might take it by surprise.
It would take it by surprise and piss it off slightly.
Go ahead. I'll follow your lead.
Yeah, I got like 3 arrows, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna probably just save first anyway. Hey, bear. Oh, so it doesn't care that that dude's there? That's cool. Yeah, you're just getting messed up, son. Look at him trying to take credit. You did nothing, dude. Iris beat you to him fair and square. Don't die.
This looks like the way out. I was starting to wonder if we'd ever make it. Wait. Closest town from here is River. My uncle's the blacksmith.
No one cares, dude.
It's probably best. Looks like he's gone for good this time. Listen, you should go to Solitude and join up with the closest town from here is River.
So do you want us to go to Solitude or Riverwood?
I'm sure
Because
it's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help.
I'm pretty sure you're invincible, buddy. But Thanks for the kind words, anyway. Onward to Nuketown. Kill that dog. So I think it's worth noting I have never played with a one-handed before, so I'm going to need to learn a new play style during this character. I really only used two-handed before, so it's going to be new for me. Get back here. And we've got Skiveritis. is that dude doing here?
How do you feel?
Pretty
You
good.
might be sick.
What is that?
Halt! City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only. Fine. But we'll be keeping an eye on you.
We'll pay whatever it takes, but we must have Greymane or Battleborn. Then you're either a Stormcloak sympathizer or a fool. Either way, you're no friend. I should bash your face in after all you've done.
What have we done again?
I don't claim to be the best blacksmith.
I'm pretty sure we just got here, buddy.
Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside. I don't claim to be the best blacksmith. It's a sword. I made it for the Jarl, Balgroof the Greater. It's a surprise. I don't even know if he'll accept it, but... Have you met my father? He's the steward up at Dragon's Reach. I helped my father more.
You're gonna have to stop doing that things.
You think all the council?
I do.
Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs.
Might as well start out.
Don't forget to check inside the shop if you need anything.
I know your family's honor is important to you, but we can't
They
afford
say Helgen got hit by a dragon. It'll be weeks to find out. Orders come, so you can't still be ready. I can't get so little.
You look worse than I feel. Nothing.
What's the meaning of this interruption? Jarl Barbara? Well, that explains why the guards let you in. Come on then. The Jarl wants to speak to you. Yes?
Who's this then?
I've got
So, you were at Helgen. You saw this dragon with your own eyes?
Whoa.
By Smear, Irileth was right. What do you say now? One moment.
We should send troops to Riverwood at once.
One moment.
It's in the most immediate
Oh,
danger.
dance on your head.
The
One
dragon
moment.
is lurking in the
View
mountains.
that as a provocation. He'll assume we're preparing to join Ulfric's side and attack him. We should not.
Enough! I'll not stand idly by while the dragon burns my hold and slaughters my people. Irileth, send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
Yes, my Jarl.
If you'll excuse
Well
me.
done. I'll return. Sought me out on your own. That would be best. Well done. You sought me out on your own initiative. Here, there is another thing you could. Come, let's go find Farengar.
Must have
My court wizard.
need to convince my brother.
He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons
We
and
do, Rongar.
rumors.
Your brother is the Jarl. You know I can't question his judgment.
I'm not asking you to provide his eyes. You Farengar. I think
Come
I
to
found
Dragon's
somebody.
Reach to discuss the honor.
Dragon.
Yes. Well, when I say fetch, I really mean delve straight to the. Go to Bleak Falls Barrow. Find this tablet, no doubt into. Take a look. Off to
This is a
Bleak Falls Barrow.
priority. With you, is there anything we can use to fight this
You have to be patient.
Brigands I can handle. But this talk of dragons? World's gone mad, I say.
This was a start. Need something? Unlike the rest of them. Family, I've got work to do.
That's a jerk. Wow, this is almost in.